The military government of Myanmar has executed 4 political opponents in its first use of capital punishment in decades. The executed men include a democracy figure and a hip-hop artist politician. They were accused of helping to fight against the army, which seized power in a coup last year.
This is a really grim development. I think it's one that makes the prospect of any end to the conflict, the civil war in Myanmar, much further away. We have, of course, seen extrajudicial killings in Myanmar. Rights group estimate that more than 2,000 people have been killed. But this is different. This is the state executing these 4 activists, as you say, for the first time in decades. They say they were accused of terror acts, and this is all according to justice. But the opposition see this as a means of trying to intimidate the population, to silence them with fear. And this is part of an increasing, ruthlessness from the military in Myanmar in terms of holding on to their power. We've seen that ever since the protests, which started as a result of them seizing power in February last year. They were peaceful protests. They were dispersed, those extrajudicial killings. We've also seen them detain lots of democracy activists, including Aung San Suu Kyi, who, if she's convicted of all of the crimes she faces and faces the sentence, would be behind bars for more than 100 years. So this is, a sign really of how desperate the military is to keep its power. And what's notable about this is that they had been warned by the international community. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres condemned the death sentence when it was announced, and he said it shouldn't go ahead. The Prime Minister of Cambodia has been leading the response of the Southeast Asian nations around this, warned them not to do it. They didn't think it would be good for the stability of the region, but still they have pressed ahead. And there has been condemnation already from the United Nations Special Reporter, who said this was in violation of international human rights law and must be a turning point for the international community. We haven't seen that turning point yet. We will see what action the international community takes, but the military determined not to pay heed to any of the warnings they had before these executions.